welcome everyone to 284 News. My name is Javon Wilson.
I'm Kamal Haynes.
And I'm Ron Grant.
And we are so thrilled and happy to be coming to you live out of the beautiful British Virgin Islands. The content continues via our website, 284media.com.
In today's news, primary school teachers follow stage sick out as the saga between teachers and government continues into its third consecutive day. And we also see opposition leader Leader Penn firmly against government's decision to exempt Speaker from paying legal fees. He says the procedure could be illegal and is investigating the matter. And also we see a missing Canadian visitor still at large as authorities continue search in hope of discovering body. And to join us today in studio is community activist and talk show host Cindy Rosan, who have a special announcement to make regarding a special activity on Monday. We get to these and more stories when 284 News returns.
You value traditions. Today, you value music. You value education. Family.
I love you.
Service.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Love. Life. At Popular, we're committed to you and everything our community values. For the things you value the most, count on us. Popular.
Well, welcome everyone. It's Friday, October 29th, 2021. I'm Kamal Haynes, coming to you live from the beautiful British Virgin Islands. A happy Friday to one and all, and just a reminder to the viewers that today is the final weekday and it culminates the end of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Hence why I'm in my pink, of course. And we at 284 News wants to wish all breast cancer survivors and those persons who are presently battling against this disease all the best in their journey. And I also want to encourage all women to get a regular checkup on your breast, especially if you observe any abnormalities. Well, viewers, we start the newscast with this top news. Obviously, we would have seen in the territory a continuation of a strike where it's in a continued effort to have their voices heard. Primary school teachers across the territory of the Virgin Islands today, Friday, October 29th, followed their colleagues from the Elmore Stout High School in a sick-out. And a notice from the Altius Catliff Primary School was among those circulated to parents and guardians this morning, alerting them of the development which resulted in the school's closure. Where the notice read, and I quote, "We value the well-being of each student in our care and found it necessary to inform you that due to the high volume of absenteeism among our teachers, there will be no school today. We are truly sorry for any inconvenience caused," end quote. Well, also following suit was a notice from the Francis Lettston Primary School where the principal addressed the school's parents. Where that notice read, and I quote, "I am sure you are aware that teachers have been taking sick days in solidarity for changes in the system that they have been hoping for many years. It is their right to participate in the sick day for primary school teachers in support of their struggles as educators, and the notion that they matter more than is apparent. Well, parents, I know you do appreciate teachers, and I am sure you all understand the struggles of teachers. So, although this sick-out day may affect your usual schedule, your peaceful support for our teachers in this effort will go a long way in improving the education system through the body that fuels it, our teachers, without whom no school can function," end quote. Well, she continued, and I quote, "Well, I will be on campus, but I cannot receive students without a staff, as that will be a dangerous situation for our children," end quote. Well, viewers, it is unclear how many primary schools were affected during the day. However, reports reaching our newsroom confirm that apart from the two schools mentioned, the other schools include the Joyce Samuel Primary School, the Willard Whitley Primary School, and the Ivan Dawson Primary School. Well, that list of primary schools, in terms of those participating in the sick-out, were expected to climb. Well, outside of a recent radio broadcast delivered by the Education Minister, Dr. Natalia Wheatley, the Ministry of Education is yet to address that matter. It is also unclear how long the sick-out will continue in the territory. Moving on, viewers, to our second story, where the opposition leader Leader Penn spoke, or more so commenting on the matter regarding what transpired yesterday with the Premier Andrew Foyce exempting or announcing the notion to exempt Speaker of the House Julian Willock from having to pay legal fees. Now, where the opposition leader Leader Penn says he is firmly against the decision of the government to cover the Speaker of the House of Assembly's Julian Willock's legal bill. Well, Penn, during an interview with 284 News on Friday, said he believes it is not the government's rightful responsibility and warned that this process could potentially be illegal. Well, he said during a previously commissioned meeting, the subject of Willock's legal bill was brought to the forefront and a vote was held on whether the government should cover these fees. Well, the opposition legislator said he and his other colleague, 2nd District Representative Melvin Mitch Turnbull, were among the only 2 persons to vote against bringing that motion to the House. But when asked whether other members of the opposition were present during that meeting, he said he could not recall if all members were present, but was sure that he and Turnbull were the only 2 persons who voted against that decision.
Well, interesting enough, this matter came up previously in an informal meeting where there was a vote on the matter, and the 2 members that voted against it was myself and Honorable Melvin Mitch Turnbull. My position then and my position is still no, that I don't believe that it should be the government's responsibility. I don't think that in times where we're going through such difficulty in terms of the finances of the territory, to be back and forth with these issues of continuing expending the public force on budgeted expenses like this. We are spending $5 million on the government's lawyers for the COI. They're talking about another $120,000 plus. Because it's going to be more than that when it's all said and done, when this process is wrapped up. And I'll say more about this in the House of Assembly. But I want to put on a public record that I didn't support it when it came before us in an informal meeting, and I still do not support this measure as it is coming forward for the people to pay for these legal fees, which was we've already paid a tremendous amount of monies in legal fees, unbudgeted monies, when all the other resources that we need to get things going for schools, for seniors, for road infrastructure, for tourism infrastructure. We continue to hear that there's no money, but we could find unbudgeted money, $5 million in first instance with Withers, the government's lawyers, and Silk Legal. Additionally, over $5 million in fees, and now this. Come on, we have to do better.
Well, Penn said his stance being taken by the government is in alignment with the many questionable decisions that have been made since they came into office. Well, he said that for a government to go against a Supreme High Court ruling and take funds from the Consolidated Fund to settle the Speaker's debt even after Willock, as a private citizen, was ordered by the court to pay the legal fees directly contradicts good governance. Well, he said he is looking into the legality of this decision by the government as he believes it may not be legal.
Again, this is consistent with the government's behavior. They say one thing and they do another, a totally different thing. They continue to contradict themselves in everything they say and do. And the reality is that I have to, and I'm now getting persons to look at this matter because to see if it's even legal. The approach that is being taken after the courts have ruled on what needs to be done. If we could now go as a House of Assembly, authorize the Premier and the Speaker to dip into the Consolidated Fund to pay these fees when there was a court ruling on this matter. It's something that we have to look at. We have to look at it closely. We continue to talk about accountability, transparency, and good governance. We have to ensure that these things are done above board. We not continue changing the rules to suit whatever needs we have at the time. This kind of behavior has to stop, and this is the type of behavior that has us in the position that we are right now, with a level of scrutiny that's under our governance structures, the level of scrutiny that's under everything that we do. We continue to be arbitrary in administering the whole tenets of good governance and the whole tenets of building institutions when it suits us. We cannot continue to finance person's ego to go after frivolous lawsuits. We saw it with the Margaret Pool case, where we had a protracted legal case that cost the country over $200,000 to $300,000, and it might be even more because they have to pay costs for Margaret Pool's legal case. So essentially, you could almost pay over $500,000. Then you have another $5 million spent on the legal defense for the COI, and now this, and all the other additional legal matters that we've had over the past 2.5 years that has been brought, particularly mostly by the Speaker and this House of Assembly.
While viewers during yesterday's sitting of the House of Assembly, Premier Andrew Foy announced that he was bringing a motion to exempt Speaker Willock from having to pay his $120,000 legal bill. Well, Speaker Willock was originally ordered by the Eastern Supreme High Court to pay the legal fees of the defendants in his discontinued injunction case, which was filed against the Commissioner of Inquiry and his 3 attorneys. Well, this judgment was handed down by Justice Adrian Jack on Thursday, September 30th, where it was revealed that Speaker Willock could pay more than $120,000 once an assessment of the total fees were conducted. Well, the legal fees submitted by the Attorney General totaled $6,084, while the bill for the Commissioners, Gary Hickenbottom, along with his attorneys, Bill Al-Rurat, Ray Harrison, and Andrew King, totaled $115,348.50. Whether the decision by the government ultimately means that taxpayers will now be burdened with that expense, which sparked major backlash in the BVI community following the breaking news, which was obviously broken by 284 News. Or less than an hour later, an online petition was created and circulated around the territory, which gathered in excess of 900 votes in less than 24 hours. Well, that petition, which was entitled "Make Willock Pay His Own Bill," is addressed to the government of the Virgin Islands, and according to the information on the site, it was created by local vlogger Lawrence Bungie Wheatley. Well, viewers, we'll take a quick commercial break, but also to note that that motion obviously will be brought before the House. Is scheduled to be the next motion in place on Monday, November 1st. But before we get to our stories, viewers, coming up next, missing Canadian visitors still at large as authorities continue search in hope of discovering body. And we also see the VI Recreation Trust Families at Play event deemed a success after attracting some 500 residents. Also plans to have events monthly and also on the sister island. We get to these stories when 284 News returns. Well, welcome back, viewers. Well, the missing Canadian visitor who was last seen snorkeling off Cooper Island has still not been found, but authorities remain hopeful as the search continues. Well, this was relayed to our news station by Operations Manager at the Virgin Islands Search and Rescue, Phil Aspinall, who said that his organization has been in constant contact with the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force as the two entities continue to search for the missing male.
We've been at obviously all day the Monday when it first started. Tuesday, Customs and Police were out for the day. And then yesterday, we were out for the day. And now I'm actually waiting for the police to tell me what we should do next. You know, at day 3, day 4, it becomes a police matter, whether they call it off or ask us to do one more day or whatever it is. You know. So as it is now, we have not found him, sadly, and we have actually not searched today so far, but we're happy to search again this afternoon if the police say one more go, please. You know. So, as far as I'm aware, the police are out there tying it in with their regular patrols. Do you know what I mean? Rather than specific, which it has been for the last couple of days.
Well, Aspinall said that considering the length of the time that the person in question was missing at sea, the authorities are hoping to at least discover the body of the male to bring some closure to the family.
That's what we're hoping to do. You know what I mean? At this stage, I think that's the reality of where we're at now, and we're hoping to do that for some closure for the family. You know, so but we're in the hands of nature now, if you know what I mean. When if he sank, when he surfaces, or if he's washed right out to sea, then sadly we won't find him. You know what I mean? So, it depends. It depends on the currents and everything else. So I say we're the whim of nature now, not. There's nothing we can do about that, you know. We track the currents on the first day, so we our search has been focused on the likely areas based on the currents on the day when he disappeared. That's where we focused our searches.
Well, a police media release on the matter disclosed that the Canadian visitor had met up with 4 other persons on a chartering vessel in the territory for the first time, and all 5 persons went snorkeling off Cooper Island. Early reports indicate that it was only after the 4 other charter guests returned to the vessel that they realized that the Canadian male was not already on board the vessel. Aspinall shared a similar finding following his preliminary investigations.
As I understand it, the gentleman was here on an adventure holiday. He did not know the other individuals on the boat until he got here. You know, they met on the boat. It's an organized eco trip by a company not from here, and then the individuals all meet up when they get here, so to speak, and then that's how it works. So the other individuals on the boat actually had only met him the night before. They did not know him. But that said, all of them went swimming on that Monday morning, and 4 of them returned to the boat from where they'd swam at Cooper Island, and he didn't return, so they raised the alarm. So they didn't notice he was missing until they actually got back to the boat, if you know what I mean. They're all swimming together.
Well, viewers, we here at 284 News obviously wish the family all the best, and we do hope that some closure is brought in that incident. Well, moving on, viewers, to a recent event where the recently held Family at Play event, which was hosted by the Virgin Islands Recreation Trust at the A.O. Shirley grounds at the Multipurpose Sports Complex, was deemed a success after attracting nearly 500 patrons throughout the day. Well, this is according to Director of the Recreation Trust, Eustace Boss Freeman, who made a disclosure during a recent interview with 284 News. Where the family-themed event was held on Monday, October 18th, Heroes and Forefathers Day holiday, and commenced from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. with lots of activities on the card throughout the day. Well, Director Freeman spoke on some of these activities and to the success of the event.
Right, definitely we had somewhere close to 500 people out during that event. We had lots of activities. So we had activities that happened on the center of the A.O. Shirley ground, which included some football action, the water slide, different games, bouncy castles, and so forth. And on the inside of the multi-sports complex, we had netball, we had some badminton and basketball going on the inside. So people were engaged throughout for all ages, you know. So it was a wonderful day in my opinion, and we look forward to doing something real soon again in the near future.
Well, Freeman also revealed some of the plans by the Recreation Trust to hold some similar events on a monthly basis and also on the sister islands. Well, he said the intention is to ensure that the Trust activities also reach those persons on the sister islands so that no one feels left out.
Definitely you could look out for some other events coming up, but to speak directly towards this type of event, our goal is to have one of these events every month. You know, at least one time throughout the month, and not at a set location, but to move from different venues, even going over into the sister islands to make sure that they are able to, you know, commute just like everybody else.
Well, Director Freeman also explained the purpose behind the Trust hosting the events, stating that it was held to raise funds for operational needs and also provide an avenue where residents could become more physically active. Well, he said every penny collected will go towards maintaining the 26 facilities of the Trust, which are located across the territory.
Okay. So the Recreation Trust decided that we are going to embark on an initiative to raise funds throughout the territory, and in doing so, bring in sports together with just regular daily recreational activities. So we came up with a fun day, you know, to bring families together while having fun, and at the same time promote a healthy, active lifestyle. So that's the whole basis behind of the activities this past holiday. Right. Well, the event was in effort to raise the funds so that we could properly maintain our facilities. We have 26 facilities throughout the BVI, and as you could imagine, it would take finances to make sure that we keep the upkeep the way the general public would want it. The event took some time to set up. As you mentioned, you saw us out there for a couple of days, well, but it was a one-day event from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. that evening. So we basically got out there early, and you know, we engaged with the community. Everybody came out and have a good time.
Well, Well, viewers, we do look forward to those upcoming events, as I'm sure that you, the viewing public, would welcome and support the initiatives when it comes to a venue near you. Well, viewers, up next, fully vaccinated residents traveling into Barbados no longer have to be tested on arrival, nor do they have to quarantine. And we also have a special guest in our studio this evening, a talk show host and community activist Cindy Rosan, who will be speaking on a protest which is slated for November 1st next week.
The wait is over. CCT Fire is here. Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network. CCT Fire. Bring it home and upgrade today.
Is business slow, cash flow down, hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media at cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Well, welcome back, viewers. Well, fully vaccinated residents with a negative pre-flight COVID-19 PCR test who intend to travel to Barbados as of October 24th will no longer be required to be tested for COVID-19 or quarantine once arriving in that country. But this was announced by Barbados' Minister of Health and Wellness, Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Bostic, who said that all fully vaccinated travelers into the island with negative PCR tests will be exempt from arrival testing and having to quarantine. Well, he said that travelers meeting the aforesaid requirements will be allowed to leave the Grantley Adams International Airport with no restrictions. Well, Minister Bostic, however, disclosed the possibility of some travelers being tested, as the Chief Medical Officer has the authority to request COVID-19 testing of any traveler and to have them quarantined if required. Well, prior to October 24, fully vaccinated travelers were required to be tested on arrival, either at the airport or at an approved hotel, where they were free to move around Barbados after receiving a negative result, which usually took between 24 to 48 hours. However, unvaccinated travelers must arrive into the island with a negative test and must still undergo mandatory quarantine, where this category of persons is then tested 5 days after arrival. Well, following the announcement, there was several backlash from the Barbados public regarding the decision by the minister. Well, the Minister Bostic said that he understood the concerns raised by the people regarding the recent decision in height of the Barbados present COVID-19 situation, but said the data which he has access to justifies why such a decision is the best at this present time.
Now, I will say something to you because I know that there's been some chat in relation to the recent change of the protocols for persons coming into Barbados. And I know that after today's results that you're probably asking what madness it is that we're doing. And I understand. I understand because from where you sit, you really would not have all of the information that I have. And I want to give you the assurance, and I'm going to take some time to explain this situation to the press as well as the public, to demonstrate to you that there really is method in what you may consider to be madness.
Well, viewers, the data presented on Wednesday by the health officials in Barbados stated that the island recorded 358 new cases on Wednesday, October 27th, and 2 deaths after testing positive, which sent the positive cases to over 5,500. Well, the data showed that 4,976 persons are in home isolation, while 748 persons are in government isolation facilities. Well, Barbados' COVID-19 death total at the time stood at 151. Well, viewers, now let's take a turn to our final segment of today's newscast with talk show host of the Cut Deep show, Cindy Rosan, who's also a community activist, of course, who has a very special announcement to make regarding the protest, which is scheduled for Monday, November 1st. Welcome to the studio, Cindy.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about what's in store from Monday, November 1st. Obviously, we see what's going on in the territory. Teachers are at strike. We also see the situation with the fiasco in the House of Assembly, where the government is looking to pass a motion, despite a court ruling, to have the Speaker of the House, Honorable Julian Willock, exempted from paying these fees. Let's talk about what this protest is all about and inform these viewers what's in store.
All right, thank you. So yes, yesterday, I'm hoping that that was the final straw for everyone, the straw that actually broke the camel's back, where the Premier brought forward plans to exempt the Speaker from paying that $120,000 for legal fees on taking the COI lawyers to court. It is something that the people were not in favor with to begin with, and the people were also not interested in paying the fees for that. They find it to be a waste of our financial resources, especially at this time where everybody's suffering. The teachers can't get what they need, or students are suffering. The whole place is just a mess. And so having brought that into the House of Assembly yesterday, it has stirred up some rawness in people. And so I've had a lot of calls and messages about forming a protest. And really and truly, people wanted to go down to the House of Assembly yesterday while it was happening. But I say it was a silver lining that House of Assembly was put in recess and that they will come back on Monday to now try to push this forward with a vote. And so we have decided that we will go down to the House of Assembly to protest this action. Not only are we protesting that, we're protesting other things like our state of affairs, agriculture, how our human rights were handled during COVID, the economy, our teachers, our students, the school, the education system, things that we've been crying about for years, how the economy is going, or minimum wage, consumer protection. There's so many things that have been bothering us for a while, but have been coming forward more and more in the past year and a half, I guess, because people are really, their backs are against the wall. One of the biggest frustration is that it seems every time that this group goes into the House of Assembly, it's something to their benefit, whether it's insurance packages, exit packages, more money for them in some form, passing through things in the House that benefit their friends and so forth. And I think people are at an end with all of it. Another thing that is of high concern for us and everybody else is the fact that we feel that the Honorable Neville Smith should vacate his seat. He has broken the Constitution. His companies haven't followed the rules as they stand out in terms of how you receive contracts from government. And so all of these things are of concern, and we've decided that we will be coming down to the House of Assembly on Monday, 9 o'clock in the morning. The House of Assembly starts at 10, but we'll be there from 9, and we intend to have express to the members of our House our disapproval on this motion that they're trying to push forward for the Speaker. And nonetheless, Honorable Leader Penn is correct. There's a three-arm to our government, and the House of Assembly is basically trying to override the judiciary, which should not happen. And so all of these things we should look at. We feel that these guys make up things on the go, and because they have the power to approve them, they go ahead and do these things, whether the people are in favor or not. And on Monday, we're hoping to bring that to a swift end.
So any idea in terms of how many persons you intend to rally down by the House of Assembly to do this protest? Any idea?
So I have no idea of numbers. I'm simply saying to people to stand up for this territory, stand up for our future generations. And I'll be very straight with you. If I turn up there on Monday and I'm the only person there, I am leaving, because I'm not the only person that is bothered by what is going on. But I have been receiving a lot of messages, so I believe that we will have a turnout that is worth our while, one that the government can take a look and say, okay, I think that we should consider what is going on here now.
And also to just give me some, we only have a minute left, but just give me some quick insight. I know you're on the ground. What would you have heard regarding the strike from the teachers? I know you're on the ground, you have a few sources. What did you hear lastly regarding the reason behind the teachers taking this silent strike?
Well, as I understand it, the teachers continue to request certain things in order for them to do their job comfortably. And these things have been going on deaf ears. And so they have apparently given timelines on certain issues, and those timelines have not been met. And so they are now seeking out. I want to congratulate the teachers, and especially the primary school teachers that are standing up now. It is very important that they stood with their other colleagues, and I congratulate them on doing that.
Well, viewers, there you heard it from Cindy Rosan. Obviously, she's a community activist and talk show host of the Cut Deep Show. Thank you for joining us, Cindy.
Thank you.
Well, that's it for today's News Roundup, viewers. I'm Kamal Haynes. Do have a good and safe weekend.